will make this interesting. I'll make it as concise as possible and hopefully as informative as possible because every single one of you needs to hear this. I'll start off with a trivia question. Can anybody tell me what happened on the 27th of October, 1962? This is a real question. Yes, you. Bingo. Specifically, Commander Vitaly Alexandrovich Korbov. Sorry if I butchered that. I'm not familiar with speaking Russian or pronouncing Russian names. Yes, we came within a single key turn of the entire world being annihilated. This information didn't come out until the 80s or 90s. Nobody knew about this. Even though it was the focus of the entire Cold War, the entire American and Russian population had no idea that all of them almost died. Now, how many times, every single day, now, could something like this happen again? How close have we gotten in the last 40 or 50 years to complete annihilation? My name is Benjamin Sawyer, and my capstone is on doomsday prepping and how to survive the end of the world. Every single one of you out in the audience deserves to survive the end of the world, or just a natural disaster. It applies to all of you. And if I can convince even one of you to start preparing today, then I've achieved what I'm setting out to achieve. Now, I know that most of you think that doomsday prepping and such is things for crazy hermits who wear tinfoil hats, but it's really not. It's just for people who want to make sure that their families are safe, who want to make sure that when the worst stuff happens, or even just mundane stuff, like a flood, the minor hurricane that swept through Vermont this summer, right? Stuff like that, when that happens, they want to make sure they're prepared for it. We do not prep for aliens or zombies. This has been dramatized by movies and media and books, making us think that, oh yeah, no, we're the ones prepping for like 2012 or The Walking Dead. And we're not. We're preparing for economical collapse, for surprise military invasion, for everything that we currently rely on suddenly being taken away. Recently, I don't know how many of you know this, but there was a solar flare the size of the one that hit Earth in 1880 that came not super close, but it was a significant threat to wiping out the entire power grid. If that had happened, the banks would have shut down, right? No power, no food, no transportation, no communication, nothing like that. All gone. Now, how many of you were worried about that happening this summer? Or was it? I saw one hand, all right? One. The things we should be prepping for, the real things, are politics. Everybody knows how divided the nation is currently. It's horrible. It's sad. Everybody knows about the wars in Ukraine and Israel, everything going on over there. Everybody remembers the might have been 3 hurricanes that hit Florida this summer and annihilated the place. My girlfriend's down in Florida right now, and she was particularly affected by, I believe it was Hurricane Milton that swept through. They almost had to come up with 2 new categories for them, for the hurricanes. It's also just general peace of mind. Like, if you have a bug-out bag, right, you aren't going to be worried about the power going out because you know that you'll have radios, backup batteries, solar panels if you need them, right? A map. You're not going to be worried about losing contact with people or being in danger. It's also just really fun. Like, I personally have enjoyed collecting all this stuff, enjoyed learning about it. Because you don't just, collect jumpsuits, backpacks, stuff like that. You collect, well, actually, you'll see that on the slide that I have for my backpack. I can't take everything out of this, but I'll show you what I have. Now, a lot of people talk about bugging out, running away. There's also hunkering down. You might think of bunkers in the case of a nuclear disaster. That's totally fair. But a lot of people, myself included, would prefer to just evacuate. When you do, you're more mobile. You can run away from any dangers. All right. You can find more supplies than you would be able to if you were just stuck in one place. It's more flexible. And well, I mean, I like hiking thanks to my father over there, so you know, it's more enticing for me. But the pros of hunkering down, in case that is more along your style, is that it's more defendable. In case there's military invasion, for example, you can just hide. You're at less danger. Your family's at less danger. You have more supplies to start out with. It's normally more comfortable than sleeping out in the bush. But you've also got to consider, right, that eventually you're going to run out of supplies. And if it's too dangerous outside to go and get more stuff, well, you're out of luck. You won't be able to get more supplies. You might end up starving. So I will always vouch for just keeping on the road. Even though you might be a little bit more vulnerable, you might have to work out a bit more to prep for it. It just, overall, the pros outweigh the cons. Now, if I have already convinced a few of you, the best places to start would be just normal everyday activities. Hit the gym a few times. Go hiking, right? Learn to eat healthy. Read a few books on survival skills. Learn how to start a fire with 2 twigs and a string and a rock, maybe if you're lucky there, all right? You can start gathering up food and water supplies. Non-perishables, water filtration systems, right? For example, like the Sawyer Squeeze, I know it's a strange name, is a really, really good utility to have. It's very lightweight, portable, low form factor. You can put water in it, squeeze it through. It can stay in your bag as long as you need it to. Comes with storage. If you want to hunker down as well, there is rain filtration with sand and charcoal. Those are pretty easy to make yourself, actually, believe it or not. You just need a few filters, sand, charcoal, gravel, and paper. And that will allow you to collect rainwater and safely drink it. You'll never be afraid of running out of water, right? Also, if you are really low on supplies, let's say something really bad has happened, foreign invasion, nuclear disaster, something like that. Hey, another pandemic, right? Maybe something worse this time. Something like that strikes, and you don't have access to any of this stuff, just a drop, I know it's crazy, a drop of bleach in like a gallon of water, just a drop, shake it around, leave it there, all the germs inside will be killed. You can drink it. It'll taste nasty, but you can drink it. For food, you want non-perishables. So MREs, hardtack and pemmican actually are very ancient foods, pemmican specifically, that are very calorie dense. They take a long time to spoil. You can keep them in your bag for pretty much as long as you need. And they might not taste the best, but I don't think you're really going to care about that when your primary concern is surviving to the next day. Though if you do need stuff like, supplements, which you will, electrolytes are very important, you might not be able to hunt, even though that is something you should practice, especially when preparing for something like this. You can pack multivitamins, just, little bottle of pills, protein powder, and I'm talking, the stuff you pick up from Walmart for hitting the gym with. That works. Electrolyte drink mix. I keep Gatorade in here all the time. It's really useful, even for when you're just feeling down some days. It's very lightweight. You can take it with you everywhere. Now, this thing, I'm sure a lot of you have seen me around campus wearing it and have wondered what's inside. Well, I can tell you right now that most of the time it's just clothes because it's really just weight training. But right now, I have my bug-out bag in it. So I don't have solar panels, but I do have a survival kit, flashlights, radios, food and water filtration like I showed you. Solar panels specifically, the reason that you would want those is because they produce an adequate amount of power. If you take care of them, you can use them anywhere. Maybe not at any time, but you can use them anywhere to charge the other stuff in your bug-out bag, like lightweight electronics, small walkie-talkie radios so you keep in contact with your family and friends. If you're a little bit more splurgent, you might get a ham radio. It's a bit heavier, 50 pounds heavier, but it can reach much longer distances and access military radio frequencies in case you need to hail for help, right? Now, the best things to have in a backpack, what you want to have in a backpack is things that are very lightweight and only what you need. So think blankets, right? A tent, sleeping bag, stuff like that, throw it out the window. You just want maybe a tarp and some string, because that's all you'll need. Everything else you can collect out in the bush or on the road. or from, the burned down convenience store, whatever suits you. So you also want to make sure that you know how to survive with what is inside of your bag. You don't want to rely on anything else. You don't want to take any chances here. You are a singular unit that has to survive out in the wilderness on your own. And if you can't do that with just what you have in here, you're screwed. There's really no other way to say it. You're done for, because you're not going to be able to find everything that you need. Some stuff gets destroyed. A lot of stuff gets looted, because people that don't prepare will suddenly freak out. I'm sure we all remember COVID. Where did all the toilet paper go? To the people who weren't prepared. So you aren't going to be able to find this stuff. You need to keep it in your bag. And I know you're wondering why I look like a bargain bin Ghostbuster right now. It is the hands-on portion of my project. It is currently unfinished, but I'm working on that. It is called the HEVS, which stands for Hazardous Environment Suit. It is meant to protect from fallout and radiation, specifically alpha and beta rays, and in some cases from gamma rays, which come from fallout itself, which the suit is designed to be washed very easily, because fallout is just little particles. There's sand. It's very dangerous, spicy sand, but it's just sand. And you want to be able to wash this out of your suit. So it's easy to take off. I did a quick time test, and I figured out that I can put this whole rig on in just about 2 minutes, which in a disaster scenario is pretty good. A lot of people, might collect some stuff that might take them 10, 20 minutes to get all together. This stuff, I keep it all in my bag. Everything you see that I'm wearing right now, the gloves, the boots, the jumpsuit, the gas mask, all right? It all fits inside of this bag. Speaking of the gas mask, actually, one of the big things that you need to think about when protecting against fallout, which is the primary thing that I'm preparing for, is you need to make sure not to breathe it in or get it inside of you. Because fallout on its own is not horribly dangerous as long as you take showers. But once this stuff gets in your lungs, it's going to start irradiating you constantly. And there's no way to get it out unless you take a few special pills. I believe there is a type of cobalt pill that you can take. It's this little blue pill that will latch onto specific types of radiation from specific nuclear weapons. And, wow, I love forgetting my vocabulary. It'll make it not dangerous. It'll make it so that you aren't going to be worrying about it radiating you, and it can pass out of your system, really. I did field test the suit. If you saw me this Halloween, I was the guy wearing this and all this with the military helmet on, because I was field testing it. What I discovered is actually that it sucks, and I need to fix it. This is uncomfortable, and realign my teeth for the next day. It was very hard to talk, but I'm working on a new design that will be a bit more rigid and solid that you clip on over your head. I've been working on it in Blender. I don't have any of the actual files right here, right now, but I might make a capstone presentation, or not capstone, sorry, chapel presentation on it next semester, and I might just walk up here again looking like this, but a little bit cooler. Now, the reason that I actually don't have all the pieces is because I was looking for a job this whole time, and I have not so far been able to find one. Otherwise, I would have knee pads, arm pads, and a harness, which are important because you have to be able to sometimes crawl on all fours or hoist yourself out of a pit. Somebody else can hoist you out of a pit, right? Just, stuff for ease of access and safety. Think what I would wear on a job site for construction or carpentry or roofing. The suit is also very, very hot. I have been sweating all day. It sucks. So I'm going to be getting a thinner suit. This is my work suit, but it's kind of the same model. It just has a lot more insulation in it. So there is really, you shouldn't wait to start doing this. It could happen tomorrow. It genuinely could. With all the horrible politics stuff that's going on, the war in Ukraine, the fact that North Korea just joined that war, which is horrifying, and just general social unrest, maybe even a burglary. You should be prepared for this. So just start collecting stuff now. And again, like I said at the beginning of this presentation, if I can convince just one of you to start packing a bit extra water, I've actually done something and succeeded, which is the community impact that this whole thing has been about. I've just been what you are currently witnessing is me doing the thing. I'm trying to convince you. Now, have any of you, even throughout this presentation, decided you might consider becoming a prepper? That's what I like to see. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. That makes me very happy. Now, I want to send out a big thank you to Chef Hale for helping me out with this capstone presentation. I would not have known how to do this without him. A big thank you to my mother and father, who I'm hoping are here today. I know my dad is back there. I don't see my mother. My dad taught me how to hike, got me invested in hiking, fitness, the White Mountains, all that jazz. My mother was actually the one that got me into prepping. She's a prepper herself. She's over in Fairfax. Got a whole basement full of food. So big thank you to them. And thank you to you guys for listening to this. I didn't have a script coming up here, and I'm really happy to see that I must be doing well here. So going forward, again, I'm going to see if I can make it up here on Chapel next semester. Hopefully I'll have the full kit done, finished bug out bag, maybe a bit buffer, and I might even be able to demonstrate a few survival skills to you. I don't know if I can start a fire inside the chapel, but you know, we'll see what I can show you guys. Here are my sources, and thank you very much for listening to me babble about this stuff for like 15 minutes. Now, are there any questions? Go ahead. Yes, Zach.
Do you also have the axe in your bag?
I don't carry my axe with me. I was advised by my friends to not carry the axe with me. Yeah. Yes, Addie. Yeah, my mother and father YouTube. There's this guy on YouTube named Kyle Hill. He's a science YouTuber. He is an award-winning science educator and a nuclear historian. So he was one who I learned from him about the 2-week radiation period. This is actually why Hiroshima is no longer a nuclear wasteland, because radiation doesn't take that long from fallout to dissipate. And also, I recommend the site The Prepared. They have a lot of information on prepping, why I should prep, what to start, you know, books to read, stuff like that. So, yes, over there.
Do you carry all of your prepping stuff with you, like, during school? And
Not every day, but on occasion I have packed a few weights into my bag because...
like, to work out?
Yeah, exactly. So actually for the Walk to End Hunger this year, if you saw me with the backpack, that thing was like 50 pounds. I packed in a bunch of metal into it and just hauled it around town. So that was a lot of pain. Ow.
How would you recommend staying warm? I know you said that the suit was really hot, but then you also said not to bring like unnecessary sleeping bag stuff. How would you recommend staying warm outside?
Right, so actually the tactic that I would recommend for that is if you start a fire and you let it burn for a long period of time over a certain area of ground. You want it to be about the size of your body. Then you put out the fire, you start another one next to it, and you clear all of the hot ash off of where you're going to sleep. Put down some pine needles on there, and the ground itself will keep you warm throughout the rest of the night because it retains heat pretty well. The rocks and the silicon in there they stay warm. So that's my recommendation. Also, if you can pack like a thermal blanket, is really worth the 2 ounces that it takes to put into your bag. But when I say blanket or sleeping bag, I really mean don't pack a quilt. You know, don't pack the sort of stuff you'd have in your bed. Addie. either military invasion, nuclear holocaust, or civil unrest. So think, riots, burning down buildings, or mushroom clouds, stuff like that. Yes. It is pretty pricey. Some of the better bug out bags, there are 3 levels of bug out bags according to the prepared. The first one is just an extra, like a change of clothes, some basic stuff to keep you alive out there for maybe a day or 2. That one's about $500. Level 3 can reach upwards of $2,000. Yeah. Over there.
Great presentation, Ben. Where can I get a suit like yours?
Amazon.
For someone who doesn't necessarily want to carry around a big bag, how can I still stay prepared and safe?
So what I would recommend doing is having a contact that at any point you can just be like, hey, I need to go home and grab my bug out bag. Bad stuff just happened. I was about to say a different phrase. You can probably guess what it was. But, I have to go home and grab my stuff. So have something like that. Or just know where your bug out bag is at all times. Be able to go there. I can see Simon really wants to say something here. Personal nuclear, what? Yes, I can help you. I'm happy to help any of you who wants any help with this sort of stuff. Yes. You. Not in the mountains, but I did recently do like an 8-mile walk around town and then down to the interstate and back. And the advice that I garnered from that is bring salt, because if you start cramping, you're going to die. My legs started cramping around the 6-mile mark, and I had to walk all the way back to my house from the interstate with my calves on fire. Let's see, who else? Yeah. I would recommend packing some extra insulin. See if you can refrigerate it, because I do know that needs to be refrigerated. Asthma, I'm not sure about the medication itself, but if you can bring an extra inhaler or something like that, do try to do that. Pharmacies are probably going to be what is unfortunately looted first, so you are going to want to stockpile that sort of stuff and be able to keep it safe. Yes, see.
How do you know your suit works against radiation?
Could you repeat that, sorry?
How do you know that your suit works against radiation?
Yes, so the main design of the suit is it's focused around the way that radiation particles themselves work. Alpha is a single helium nuclei traveling at really fast speeds, but it can't even get through paper. So alpha radiation has the least penetration out of all of them. Beta can get through a bit of concrete. That's just a really fast electron, but the suit can also protect against that. Gamma radiation is the stuff that will make your DNA explode. That is what you want to protect against, and that is why the suit is one piece. So you will be able to take it off, wash it in a river, anything that you can wash stuff out in, and then quickly put it back on. Yes, Garrett. That's actually a really good question. Small game. Because I know that we're all like, oh, well, yeah, you don't want to get the most. You want to get the deer, right? You want to get the big 12-pointer. No, you don't. You want to get something that you can haul around in your bag or that you can eat in one meal. Yes. Urban areas would be probably you'd want to find a place to hunker down if you can. We, in St. Johnsbury, have a fallout shelter. We do. I don't know how many of you know this, but we do have a 100-person fallout shelter, so if you don't have anywhere to go, you can go there. Other than that, just find a way to leave. If that means grabbing your stuff and sprinting out of the city, then that's what you would want to do. In Manhattan, I don't know what to do because I don't live in Manhattan. That wasn't part of my research, but it would be bad.
Let's do one more question, and then anybody else who has further questions for Ben can catch up with him after we finish the video.
Yes. That's a great question. I don't know. See, zombies aren't real, so that wasn't part of my research, but if I had to guess, probably you wouldn't.
All right, here you go, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, bud. They shouldn't be.